All right, hello, good evening, Packaging Optimization Summit. My name's Adam Gendell. I'm a project manager at Green Blue with the Sustainable Packaging Coalition, and it's really been my pleasure over the last year to co-lead the development of this new guidance for designing more sustainable packaging. So this evening I get to show you our new website, and I'd like to take you through a little bit of the design guidance. So here it is. This is our new website. We're calling it Packaging Design for Sustainability, and this is the homepage. So this is the first thing that someone's going to see when they visit the website. We put a lot of key ideas and core concepts on this homepage that we hope a visitor will understand before they get into the specifics of the design guidance. The first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is this statement here right up top: creating optimized packaging systems that contribute positively to our well-being with less impacts. The key word there is optimized. The traditional approach to increasing the sustainability of packaging has been solely to focus on reducing environmental impacts. We think that sustainability is an opportunity for companies to optimize packaging. So with that idea of optimization, we have three main themes on this homepage that we hope will help explain that. The first is here, this idea of using life cycle thinking. In other words, optimizing over an entire life cycle. So, understanding how a design change that addresses one phase of the life cycle, for instance, sourcing, might enact change in another phase of the life cycle, for instance, recovery. So, optimizing over an entire life cycle lets one create an idea of having the net effect or net impact of packaging. The second key concept here on the homepage is here, viewing the product package system. So in other words, optimizing each package in the packaging system. It's a similar concept. The idea is that change that addresses one package in the packaging system might necessitate change to another package in the packaging system. So to get an idea of the net effects and the net impacts of selling a product, the design team must optimize the entire packaging system. The third key concept in this optimization approach is the idea of understanding every benefit of the packaging system and also every impact of the packaging system. And doing this is another way to ensure that unintended trade-offs aren't introduced. If the design team has a good understanding of each benefit and each impact of the packaging system over its whole life cycle, then they can ensure that a change that addresses one benefit or one impact doesn't create unintended consequences to other benefits or other impacts of the packaging system. So in summary, sustainability of packaging is an opportunity to optimize a set of benefits, a wide range of impacts, over a number of packages in the packaging system across its entire life cycle. Now this probably sounds challenging. However, the entire rest of the website is dedicated to walking design teams through four-step process that allows them to make meaningful progress in this optimization approach. So, next I'll take you to the second page in the website, prioritize. So this is where we really start to get into giving design guidance to the design team, a step-by-step process that allows them to make meaningful progress. So the first step here is prioritization of benefits and impacts that the design team wishes to optimize for that packaging system over its life cycle. Now with each of these pages we've included an example that follows through the process. So this example is a made-up company packaging beverages in beverage containers that go into a corrugated case. So for this very first step of setting goals and setting objectives that align with a company's sustainability strategy, our company has made a list of benefits that they wish to maximize, and they've also constructed a list of impacts that they wish to minimize. So that's the very first step, setting those goals, creating objectives. The second step is on the next page, benchmark. So after a company has set those goals, we advise them to go out and benchmark one or more existing designs that are already on the marketplace. This lets them create a starting point from which they can measure progress. So following through with our example, our company has prioritized their benefits and impacts, and then they've benchmarked a design that's already out there in the marketplace. So now they know where they need to get to achieve the goals that they've set. Now, there's a lot of great information on this page about how to use life cycle assessments and other tools to assess the sustainability of packaging, and we've drawn a lot of this from the Global Protocol on Packaging Sustainability. We think that's a really great piece of work that sets the gold standard for how to measure and communicate the sustainability of packaging. So by all means, we've intended to align this guidance with that work. Now, the next step in this process is on the following page called Innovate. This is the real heart of the design guidance, innovation. So after a company knows what they want to do and they know where they need to start, we'd like to think that they should innovate to get those improvements. So the innovation part of this website is broken into these 3 design strategies: sourcing, efficiency, and recovery. So on this page here, there's a bit of guidance on how a company should go about using those design strategies. And then of course we also carry through our example and give you an idea of what our make-believe company has done from using these design strategies. So next I'd like to show you the design strategies, and we'll start with the second one. This one is called Design for Efficient Material Usage. Each design strategy starts with a general introduction to the main concept, and then it's broken into subcomponents of the overall strategy. So the overall strategy here is material efficiency, and the components of that strategy are minimizing the material used in the packaging system, achieving those weight reductions, maximizing the volumetric efficiency during transport, creating better cube efficiencies, and lastly, thinking outside of the package and improving the transportation system itself. Now, with each of these components of each design strategy, we've broken the ideas into these sections. So a general introduction, a bulleted list of considerations that the package design team should keep in mind, and then also a bulleted list of questions to ask when you're seeking to use this strategy. Next, there's a list of useful measurements, quantitative measurements that the design team can use to assess their progress in putting this strategy into action. And lastly, learn more, a collection of links to external resources and tools for the folks who want to learn a lot more and take a deeper dive into understanding the components of each strategy. So you'll see each component of this material efficiency strategy has those same parts: things to keep in mind, questions to ask, useful measurements, and links to learn more. We'll back up to the very first strategy, design with responsibly sourced materials. This strategy has a few different components to it. The first is general guidance on what to consider when you're selecting a material. There's information here about using post-consumer recycled content. A company can tab through and learn about considerations for using post-consumer recycled content for specific materials. There's an illustrative widget here where they can use the slider bar to adjust the amount of PCR used in the material and see, for illustrative purposes, how that adjustment might change some of the impacts. So here we're looking at fossil fuel consumption, water consumption, greenhouse gas emissions, and particulate matter emissions. There's also guidance on using pre-consumer recycled content, on using certified fiber, addressing material health considerations and toxicity concerns, and also guidance on what to keep in mind when you're selecting a supplier. So we've looked at sourcing, we've looked at efficiency. I'll take you through the third and final design strategy, which is design for recovery. As you might imagine, this design strategy takes one through the waste hierarchy, with the exception of reduce, which has been covered in the efficiency strategy. So design for recovery goes from design for reuse to design for recycling to design for composting and design for energy recovery. In the introduction to this section, there's some really good information about how a company should think about recovery as part of that overall optimization approach, keeping in mind that while the waste hierarchy is useful, it doesn't mean that every package should be designed for reuse or that every package must be recyclable. So again, it's just another instance where these design strategies should be used in the context of an overall optimization approach. So we hope that this is food for thought for a company to innovate and use innovative thinking in their design improvements. The very last step that we suggest a company should use is on this final page, assess. Assess the improvements. Understand what changes you've made to the design of the packaging system and learn if those improvements have achieved the desired results that you set all the way back in step 1 when you set your objectives. So, carrying through our example on the right side, we see our company has prioritized, they've benchmarked, they innovated and came up with some design improvements, and then they assessed their results. So, if we remember that these were the benefits that they wish to maintain or enhance, these were the impacts that they wish to reduce, looks like they did a pretty good job. Finally, the website, like any good website, has a page about the website itself where people can learn about the organizations that contributed to the development of the website. And the website also has a contact page so that people can get in touch with us, share their questions or comments, if they have an idea for a resource they'd like us to give a link to, or if they have a case study of a package design that we could use to illustrate the guidance, they can let us know using this page. So I hope you found this useful, and I hope it's been a good day's conference, and with that I will conclude. Thank you very much for listening.